Hey folks, welcome back to the home office. One more thing before we say goodnight. You know, if you haven't ever been to the Monaca SOI on Pacific Avenue, you need to head on over and become a member. Truly some of the most incredible people I have ever met. And for those of you who know me, yes, I have been a lot of places in my life and time. But earlier tonight, my friend Ernie Ritchie dropped by and brought some of his incredible meatballs, his mother's stuffed Italian sausage, Mancini bread. Oh, how sweet it is. So to my friend Ernie Ritchie, my coom from Ritchie's Italian Sausage, mwah, buonissimo. We appreciate it. And of course, the Monaca SOI for the holiday season, there is nothing better. So I just thought I'd give them a little love because those folks do mean a lot to me. And nothing says love in holiday time or any time, especially football season, tailgate time, better than Ritchie's Italian Sausage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the third generation in the historic McKees Rocks area. So Ernie, thank you very much, and always we appreciate your time on the Feast of the Seven Fishes of Christmas Eve. Now, earlier, before I headed out and went to work, I was in the screening room, if you will, the Pratte gym here at the home headquarters, and I had a chance to finally finish Rules Don't Apply. I've been wanting to see this for a very long time since it came out, but your Pratte kind of grinds pretty hard, so it's kind of tough to sit down and watch a movie, but this one was definitely worth it, the hour that I took today. And I know that it didn't do well at the box office, but man, I think it's a great historic portrayal of truly one of the most fascinating men ever, Howard Hughes. And I know that Mr. Beatty has been fascinated with him for years, and he's been trying to bring something to the screen, and he finally was able to do that. Now, there have been other great portrayals of him, and you've heard me talk about it before. Leonardo DiCaprio, The Aviator, Martin Scorsese was absolutely fantastic. But this really kind of focuses on a particular period in Howard Hughes' life, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But it also really proves a point. No matter how much you have in the bank, sometimes those potholes along the way can prove very costly. But you cannot forget the body of work. And I think that was the mission of Warren Beatty in this motion picture, to show a historical figure being human. And yes, when he did cut, it bled. But how he ended a life in which he also gave a lot of his life, and we are enjoying a lot of the fruits of his labor today. So I'm going to explain all of that in a moment. But to the cast, of course, Warren Beatty starred as Howard Hughes. Lily Collins, Marla Maybray, Alden Ehrenreich as Frank Forbes, Annette Bening, his beautiful wife. They have 2 sons and 2 daughters. I'm so happy that that marriage is working out and those children are growing, and 2 people who've been working very hard in Hollywood. And make no mistake, the people in front and behind the cameras work hard as, well, anyone. As all of us in Western Pennsylvania had hardworking parents, believe me, these people work just as hard. It's not all fun and games in Tinseltown, believe me. And one of the most proudest things in my life is to say that I'm a card-carrying member of the Screen Actors Guild. That's a great union, and those are some of the hardest working women and men in America. Also in this movie, Matthew Broderick, love him. LeVar Mathis, Alec Baldwin, who was in the original The Aviator, of course, that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. He's back as Bob Mayhew. Candice Bergen as Nadine Henley. Martin Sheen, Noah Dietrich. Oliver Platt as Forrester. Haley Bennett as Mamie Murphy. Ed Harris as Mr. Bansford. And Tessa Farmiga as Sarah Barnesford. Set in Hollywood in 1958, the film follows the romantic relationship between a young actress who was portrayed by Lily Collins and her driver, portrayed by Alden Ehrenreich. And relationships between the two forbidden by their employer, Howard Hughes. 20th Century Fox released it. As I said, didn't do well at the box office, but hopefully people are going to sit and watch this and realize the value of it years down the road. Of some great cinematography, but more importantly, portraying someone as human as you possibly can and showing a real side of Howard Hughes and the price that he paid for his fame and fortune. Directed by Warren Beatty, and of course, screenplay by Warren Beatty. He's been doing that quite a bit of late, and he's won just about every award imaginable. But it was all about Howard Hughes and his time in Hollywood, as I mentioned, and all of the things that he did, and trying to juggle his entire career at that same time. You know, he was a man who did many things. Of course, it all started because of the Hughes Tool Company, founded by his father in 1908 in Texas, making drill bits for oil rigs. That lasted until 1987. Pretty incredible run, and yes, a big part of the industrial boom of that part of the 20th century. And you got to give him a lot of credit, meaning Howard Hughes, what he was able to do with that influx of cash, and he built it into an empire. Yeah, he made a lot of money, and I'm not going to get down to what they say he was worth. He was a billionaire, would have been worth billions today. But I've said this before, most entrepreneurs that achieve that success, it's not about the zeros. It's about being able to continue to grind. That's what we do. We like to grind, and he did. No one really worked any harder, I think. He was the man behind RKO Pictures, and he also presented such films as Hell's Angels in 1930. Also, one of his more famous, Scarface in 1932, long before Al Pacino. This one starred George Raft. He discovered many incredible talents that were a part of Hollywood and in front of the camera for decades. So he had a great run as the man behind RKO Pictures, but also Hughes Aircraft, Trans World Airlines, TWA, and later Hughes West. He was the owner of Del Webb's Desert Inn. He had lots of real estate. He had lots of incredible ideas. And some of the things that he really perfected in aviation, no one else, him, even when it comes to our military's defense, a lot of that stuff is still being used today. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get a history lesson of truly one of the greatest entrepreneurs the country has ever seen, but also one of the most unique and talented performers that Hollywood has ever seen, Warren Beatty, who now is 80 years young, and he looks better than I do, I might add. All right, but the thing that I'm going to leave you with is the legacy, and I want you to remember this about Howard Hughes. He died in 1976. And talk about a man who understood about paying it forward. Howard Hughes Medical Institute, as of 2007, the fourth largest private organization devoted to biological medical research, with an endowment of $16.3 billion back in June of 2007. So the legacy of Howard Hughes carries on. Now on HBO, many people are going to be educated about truly one of America's great heroes of aviation, and truly an entrepreneur and a business mind that the world will probably never see again. Good night, everyone, and happy holidays from the home headquarters of your Pratte.